So now that we've covered dependent and independent clauses, let's move on to commas. If you recall, periods are like a red stoplight. They end a sentence. Commas are more like a yellow blinking light. They remind you to pause before you continue reading on the sentence. And there are 4 uses of a comma. After an introductory idea, to set off an unnecessary information, after every item in a list, and between a list of 2 things. So let's go in more depth about after an introductory idea. As you can see in your book, we have a sample sentence. Originally influenced by punk rock bands, comma, the members of U2 believed that music proficiency was not necessarily required to be successful. So as you can see, originally influenced by punk rock bands is a dependent clause. And it's dependent on the independent phrase, the members of U2. So it's separated by a comma. Right. Can someone explain why originally influenced by punk rock bands is a dependent clause and not a phrase? Yeah, Nora.
Well, I think it's a clause because the subject is implied. U2 that explains a little bit afterwards is doing the verb, whereas the phrases don't have a subject doing the verb.
Yeah, exactly. It's a clause because it has the verb influenced. So we're going to go a little bit more in depth about this in the practice examples on your worksheet. So you have 2 sentences, and if you could, with your partner, just decide where the comma goes in the sentence and then explain why it goes there.
Because like this is pretty much yeah, and also that's good.
So the when, the weather, independent clause.
I knew about the after section, how there's a rapidly that clause works.
The first part is a clause. Okay. So the first part is a clause.
Independent phrase. That's Okay, sweet. All right. Well, we're going to come back together. It's all right if you haven't completed the activities, because we're going to explain them together right now. So the first sentence, when Johannes Gutenberg created the printing press in the 15th century, the production and distribution of books rapidly increased. Can someone tell me where the comma goes in this sentence? Holly?
Goes after century, or goes before century, or no, after century. Because the when phrase, or the when is not a phrase, it's a dependent clause because it has a subject and a verb.
Right, so it goes before because it's after an introductory idea. So it goes before the independent phrase. Perfect. Yeah, and the second sentence. The biologist discovered a new species of beetle while she was studying in the Amazon. Someone tell me where the comma goes?
Well, it doesn't technically need one because you have 2 independent phrases, like separated by the well.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need it because it's not after an introductory idea. It's at the end of the sentence, so you don't need it. If we switched the sentence around and said, while she was studying in the Amazon, the biologist discovered a new species of beetle, would we need a comma there?
Yes.
Yeah, right. Or where would we need it?
After Amazon.
Perfect. Right. Great. So does anyone have any more questions about commas after an introductory idea? No? Great. Okay.